tough one tonight. You want to just start us off with your thoughts on the match?
Yeah. First 15 minutes really good. We had 3 shots. Their keepers made a couple of worldy saves. We were on the front foot doing everything we asked of them. Sucker punch goal, 2 passes straight down the middle. Good bit of quality from the striker to roll the centre half over the top. And then you could see it rocked them, right? Because up until then we'd been in control, and then we struggled to get a foothold the next 15, 20 minutes. Regrouped, showed them the clips at halftime to get back on the front foot. It was just a connection piece side to side, making sure that when Tanaka's coming off in the pockets, we dealt with that overload. Started the second half brightly again, positive. Feels like earlier in the year where we, 20 shots at home and just that number one quality goalkeeper in the opposition net, making some big saves, and us not being clinical enough. If you look at the chances that were created, the big chances, I looked at the quality of big chances, and really that's where we could end the game. We could have ended it in the first 3 minutes. 2-0 up at home is a completely different story than sucker punch, and then we've given the ball away in the midfield. We obviously at that stage we're throwing players forward. We've gone to a back three, get isolated. I don't know how the goals got in. Like Max made 3 saves in a row, bodies everywhere. But yeah, when you don't get the rub of the green, you get punished on. It was the classic sucker punch again, both halves. And then as you see later on, they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at us. Rayner gets shoved back through the box. Great shout for a penalty. Kept pushing. They kept at it. Just use of the ball. Final third, little bit of quality in front of goal. That calmness to take chances when they come. That obviously goals change games.
And then I think, right, you're coming off of 2 losses in a row. What is the kind of focus this upcoming week against Racing?
It's a regroup, because if you look at the things we can control, and controlling the controllables about the defensive efforts, not too dissimilar to Kansas in terms of the battles, the 1v1 areas of defending. I think it's the connectivity side to side and front to back that you're not giving away opportunities and grade A opportunities again. Down the middle today, 2 passes to be eliminated the team. So they've got to get that right, back to basics. It's going to be another physical test, which I felt honestly in most areas we battled hard. Like Sam and Raylan today, just they kept getting back up after getting kicked and kicked and kicked, and we ended up with the first yellow card of the game again. It's those protection of players has to be key. And if you allow the opposition to keep doing it and we end up getting cards trying to defend ourselves, and we're going to have to be at it again. But really, it's got to be clinical in both boxes. That's the difference last 2 weeks. Number of chances, like 20 shots at home. They were in the single digits. I know we gave them the first 3, but they were all offside. They hadn't had a shot in the first 15 minutes. But goals change games, and that's the lesson for this group. The key moments, little attention to detail, 1v1, making sure you punish the opposition at the right stage and you don't get punished.
Couple of lineup questions from me. Obviously, second game starting in a row, starting with the 3-back, kind of with Issa being kind of a fullback, kind of a center back. Can you talk a little bit more about that formation and the decision to stick with that today?
Yeah, I think she does really well as a fullback. We are short in fullback options, and that defending 1v1 capacity, stepping off the front, Issa does really, really well. And then if you look at, again, very narrow 4-4-2-4, how do you build against it? Front 2, we only need a +1, and then you're operating in the key spaces with the midfield. Today, obviously, we want the winger on and trying to get Liv in that high slot where she's been so effective. And And then on the left-hand side, the overloads that we created, and you saw it early. It's everything we'd asked of them in the training week. Raylan getting through second minute, 1v1, you're like, here we go, on the front foot and doing what we needed to do. So, yeah, it was just building on those key spaces, operating in the right areas and the pockets, which we started to do, but the goal rocked them. And if you talk about one thing, to go forward with and to learn for our group, is response to that. Just because of an error and a little positional, 1v1, didn't deal with it properly, you can't then drop what you've done well for the first 15 or 20 minutes. And we allowed them to gain a foothold in the game.
And then Fleming didn't start today, and Mimi started for the first time in a second, I believe. Kind of was Jessie saying out like a resting her decision, or just like wanting to get someone else on the field?
It's that key space. If you look at last week, where we turned over the ball and lost a lot of the ball and got bullied, was in that high slot. And when you get Liv Moultrie in there, who can turn, play forward, protect the ball, and make things happen, you get that offensive quality in a central area, right? And then we know, again, needing wingers and balance a squad, that right side is an area that, unless we can stretch it and get genuine threats on both sides, it gets real clogged up in the middle. And then that's not Jesse's game. The counter pressing, the defensive side, obviously very, very good, but receiving tight, turned in those pockets is a challenge for her.
Then Rob, the team has surrendered 2 or more goals in 4 of the last 5 games. That's 9 goals since the break. Where have the struggles stemmed from, in your opinion?
I think you look again, transitional goals when we give the ball away, right? Second goal tonight, obviously we're chasing. Similar, just getting caught with the transitional speed in behind. It reminded, like I say, where we're at right now is very similar to where we were in the early start of the season. And obviously since coming back from the break, and the depth and the quality that we have to deal with certain situations is a challenge. You have to keep it varied up physically. I think tonight 2 or 3 hit numbers that they haven't. We're rebuilding in that sense. So we had to have a backup goalie to make 20 on the bench tonight, and the options to change it physically are a challenge. We're going to the well with what we have, and therefore you've got to rotate. You've got to find opportunities, especially at home, where we can get on the football and front pocket to give breathers so that you can go again for the next game. And at the moment, I think it's just key moments, transitional moments, winning those little physical battles here and there. For the good work that we do, we've come undone, and teams aren't earning it. We're giving it to them.
Yeah, and then even with limited shots, this is the most expected goals Utah has accumulated all season long. And this is only their 4th time scoring 2 or more goals. What about their attack tonight caused so many issues?
Tanaka, very clever in the pockets, but also you get an expansive shape and you lose possession. You're going to give time and space. And what we didn't do well is dealing with the player coming off into the pocket to create that overload. And usually when we're on the front foot, be it from front to back, you've either got the centre back stepping off the channel, or it's the side to side between your sixes. And if you look at the goal and the opportunity, it's ball down the middle, 2 sixes too far apart. Now they get turned, played in. We go to challenge and contest the first ball, but now we've got spun 1-on-1, and 2 balls can't eliminate your entire lines of defending. So, yeah, I'll give them credit. After the goal, I thought they played well. Like, they started to create that, and Zanata's a good football. Tanaka's a good footballer. The centre forward ran the channels really well. But those moments change games, especially for us. You're 1-0 down, come a little bit more expansive. Players start getting a little bit edgy. You could see both last week and this week, I think the goal affected the team. And that's the challenge and the disappointment for me, when you got leaders out there and you need to regroup and collect and just get next 5 minutes back to basics, do what you were doing well. Don't let that change your momentum. That's what we haven't done the last couple of weeks.
Obviously, it was a bummer seeing JP walked off the pitch today. Do you have any updates for us on her?
I don't. It's a horrendous challenge. Probably didn't get punished like Dana's soft tackle that did get punished. But yeah, I've got a player limping off and probably getting scans and checked in hospital tonight. And again, we've not been protected across the field. Our Sam Coffey and Raylan Turner survived that game as well. Yeah, it's something I'm trying to deal with behind the scenes and try and get protection of players, because it's an obvious mandate and it's clear, and it's happening time and time again. And the only one who can stand up and protect them is our bench, and then we seem to get punished. So I don't know how to address that. I've asked at the upper level, but yeah, disappointed for JP because she's come into the challenge and you can see the intent of the player. And then Hina gets booked for the exact same thing at the edge of the box after Sam Coffey gets out. It's just the consistency. So yeah, no update on JP. Fingers crossed, obviously, going into the physical battle of Louisville next week. It'll be a key piece for us. So we hope it's not too serious.
So you got your third yellow card today. Which means
Apparently,
that,
I didn't know it was for me until I actually asked the fifth official. Yeah.
so who will be at the helm next week against
Adam.
Louisville? Okay.
Unless the referees look at actually what happened, because I went out with my hands in my pockets, shrugged my shoulders. I think, again, it was like 3 of us reacted to the JP, but that's not dissent. And they always say you can't be physical dissent. So literally hands by side, shrug shoulders, just trying to ask what is going on the field to protect my players. And I don't know if it was something else that anybody else said. I'll have to find out. But when I asked the league official at the end, he didn't understand it. So we weren't alone in that. But yeah, Adam will be in charge in the next game.
Kind of on the more positive side of things, Liv hit 5,000 regular season minutes tonight.
Terrific.
And she's the youngest player to do that. Can you talk a little bit about kind of what she's brought to the team, everything she's done for the Thorns this year?
Yeah, I mean,
just throughout her
you've probably
career.
seen her since 13, right? And you're seeing her grow up and develop in front of our eyes. I think when I first came in and worked with Liv, Mike assigned me to Liv, and we worked on how does she get more of a physical output? How does she become more influential on the defensive side and the counter pressing, and her measurables are as good as anybody in the team and across the league. Then you work with her and we're like, look, you're getting the great spaces. It's those final third decisions. Sometimes just that elite decision making has evaded her. I thought tonight, most of the time, she got it right. Little slip balls through, hit the shot. I mean, we had Raylan's off the bar. I think Liv created that. Yeah, she's what I love about Liv and what we see every day, and why we want to try and keep getting her in. And that's why sometimes you got to sacrifice one of your midfielders. Is when she gets turned and between the lines, she makes things happen, and she's got the bravery to do it again and again and again. When you're getting kicked and you're getting players come through you, she finds that key space, right? And next evolution for Liv, and she'll tell you this herself, is she's probably like a 10 goal plus contribution player in this league. But you've got to also remember she's only 19, right? So as much as we now expect everything from her and we're putting more and more responsibility, she does all the right things off the field. She watches the video, she does the work, she takes care of her body, she knows what's happened, what she needs to do. She is like the most professional player, I'll say, in the squad, how she goes about her business on a weekly basis. And I think you're seeing that flourish now. And there's just going to be more and more to come, right? That's the exciting part.
And then we asked you about Julie last week, and you said you'd had half a training with her.
Yes.
So now that you've had a full week with her and she scored a
3 and a
goal,
half now. We had 3.
and she scored a goal tonight, can you talk a little bit more about her and kind of what you're looking for from her going forward?
Yeah, like to do that every week. No doubt about it. It was a quality technical finish, and I think if, like I said, Mike Norris had talked about it probably 3 years ago, and there's a few of those French league players that we looked at, and it's that Paris FC team. That they're quality in 1v1 wide areas. Julie's been a hybrid of a winger and a fullback. And obviously it wasn't working out for our Angel City for whatever reason, which we've sort of discussed with her. So this week we got her in, talk more about the game model. She's not match fit yet. I think you can obviously see that, like even coming on and the environment and the heat and the turf, getting used to that. But she's starting to build some relationships day by day. Like I say, we have 3 trainings this week, so we've got to see some of her quality. Obviously, it was a terrific strike. We've seen, you know, in that French league. Now it's how do you compete week in, week out? Being able to vary up your game against different oppositions, sitting against low blocks when it's difficult to break down, our ability to combine or get in behind and create opportunities in those wide areas is going to be key. And it's something that we've been pushing for wingers for a long time. And I think she's a hybrid of one. So we'll have to find the way to find that balance, especially down our right-hand side. But I was pleased for her that she got on, and that'll do her the world of good and confidence and trust in the group with her fellow teammates. So.
All right, we're going to go ahead and conclude today's post-match availability. Thank you, Rob.
Welcome.